their jackets and boots that were too valuable to be buried, waited beside the shallow trench.
"Lieutenant Andrews!" "Sir!" "2 sergeants, 20 men. Collect rocks."
"Rocks, sir?"
"Do it!"
Sharpe turned and bellowed the order. In this mood, men were foolish who crossed the tall, dark-haired officer who had risen from the ranks. His face, always savage, was tight with anger. He walked to the sheltered place by the big rocks where the wounded were sheltered from wind's knife edge. Sharpe's scabbard, which held the big, heavy cavalry blade that he wielded with the force of an axe, clanged on the ground as he crouched.
"Done!"
Daniel Hagman, rifleman and ex-poacher, grinned at him.
"I ain't bad, sir."
His left shoulder was bandaged, his jacket and shirt draped over the bound wound like cloaks.
"I just can't fill me pipe, sir."
"Here." Sharpe took the short clay stump, fished in Hagman's ammunition pouch for the plug of dark, greasy tobacco, and bit a lump free that he crumbled and pushed into the bowl.
"What's happened?"
"Bloody skirmisher. I thought the bastard was dead, sir." Hagman was the oldest man in the battalion. Perhaps he was over 50. No one really knew. He was also the best marksman in the regiment. He took the pipe from Sharpe and watched as the officer brought out a tinderbox.
"I shot the bugger, sir. Went forward, and he cracks me. Bastard!"
He sucked on the pipe, blew smoke, and sucked again.
"Angel got him. Knifed the bastard proper."
He shook his head.
"I'm sorry, sir."
"Don't be a fool, Dan. Not your fault. You'll be back."
"We beat the buggers, sir."
Hagman, like Sharpe, was a rifleman, one of a company who, like flotsam in this ocean of war, had ended up in the red-jacketed ranks of the South Essex. Yet, out of cussedness and pride, they still wore their green jackets. They were riflemen. They were the best.
"We always beat the buggers, sir."
"Yes." Sharpe smiled, and the sardonic, mocking look that his face wore because of the scar on his left cheek suddenly disappeared. "We beat the bastards, Dan." They had, too. The South Essex, a battalion under half its full strength, worn down by the war the way a bayonet is thinned by use and sharpening, had beaten the bastards. Sharpe thought of Leroy, the American who had been the battalion's commanding officer. Leroy would have been proud of them today. But Leroy was dead, killed last week at Vittoria, and soon Sharpe knew there would be a new lieutenant colonel, new officers, new men. Those new men were coming from England, and Sharpe would give up his temporary command of this shrunken force that should not even have fought a battle this day. They had been marching to Passages, ordered there in the wake of the great victory at Vittoria, when orders had come, brought on a sweating, galloped horse, that asked the South Essex to block this track from the mountains. The staff officer had not known what was happening, had only given a panicked account of a French force erupting from the frontier, and the South Essex, by chance, were closest to the threat. They had left their women and baggage on the main road and gone north to stop the French. They succeeded. They had lined the track, and their muskets had cracked in the deadly rhythm of platoon fire, flaying the northern approach, shredding the blue-jacketed enemy ranks. The South Essex had not given ground. Their wounded had crawled to shelter or bled where they fell. Even when the enemy mountain gun had opened its fire, hurling back whole files in bloody shambles, they had not stepped back. They had fought the bastards to a standstill and seen them off, and now Major Richard Sharpe, the taste of tobacco still sour in his mouth, could see what price he had paid. 11 dead, and more would yet die of their wounds. At least 12 of the wounded would never return to the ranks. Another dozen, like Hagman, should live to fight again, unless their wounds turned filthy, and that fevered slow death did not bear thinking about. Sharpe spat. He had no water, for an enemy bullet had smashed his canteen open.
"Sergeant Harper!"